Okie. Itamexkanatani. Good morning. It is about 9:15 in the AM on Saturday, November 14th, 2020. In the last part, actually, we're moving into the next lunar cycle. It's probably going to be a no moon tonight, although officially it's not till tomorrow night, the new moon. And yeah, we'll be moving into the second winter cycle. Yesterday was Friday the 13th. Happened also to be Mahoney's birthday. And as some kind of curious birthday present to herself, I was served with divorce papers. So I've got 20 days to respond legally to that thing. Not going to worry about it today because it's weekend and there's nothing I can really even start to do about that until Monday. Today's big event is that Foxy is going to be shipping north to the wildlife rehab. I have someone come in, well, the Medicine River Refuge has someone coming to pick up Foxy about 5:30 p.m. this evening. This afternoon, the young lady who bumped Foxy on the road and brought him to me is going to come visit him before he leaves. And so we've got that going on. This morning, right now, I am on my way to the west side of town to visit my friend John Nightingale. John has an injured, I'm assuming mule deer in his backyard. And John is a veterinarian, or a retired veterinarian of horses, and so his experience is working with ungulates like deer, and so we're going to go over there and take a look at what's going on. Now, there is, to my knowledge, perhaps no good formal protocol in place for dealing with injured deer in Lethbridge, and it's a fairly common problem, and we'll see if John feels the same way today. There was another occasion when we were called to the scene of a deer with a broken leg, and we thought, well, we'll go ahead and try to catch it, but of course a tripod deer is way more than unless it's corralled, way more than we could really deal with. It just leapt a fence and was gone. John was concerned anyway that if we caught it, one of the instincts of these animals is just to shock out and die, because if a predator gets you, you're going to be getting eaten alive, and it's better to be dead than that. So it may be that the best protocol is not to try to assist injured deer because of the risk to them. But there's some occasions when a kind of a humane euthanization, something like this, might be called for, and I think that's really what John wants me to look at in this case. He wants me to take a look at the deer and give him my opinion as to whether or not this is a situation that needs to be taken care of in a humanely euthanizing type of a way. Probably the best method of doing that is if the Fish and Wildlife officers come and put it down, with a bullet. Lethbridge Police Service became kind of famous a couple of years ago for not accidentally, but in an attempt to humanely put down a very injured deer. One of the officers ran it over repeatedly with a patrol vehicle, and it wasn't a quick death. It was a mistake. He thought it would be quick that way, and they're not allowed to just discharge bullets without a lot of paperwork to follow. So we need a protocol, and so this might be an opportunity to bring that to light. That it's time to establish a city protocol for dealing with injured deer, because it happens quite often. And it may be that the protocol is just leave them alone. In many cases, I think that's the best way to go, and it may be what I advise today, because as you know, right in the heart of the city, like in the neighborhoods where John is, or Red Crow Boulevard, you know, you don't have coyotes typically hunting in packs or anything, so the deer don't have any predators. A tripod deer could potentially get along for a good while out there. Who knows? Anyway, we're going to go take a look at that situation now, and then I have some things that I want to do otherwise today outside of wildlife. I want to try to put some fixins on the kids' beds, the bunk beds, the triple bunk bed that I made them. Some of the slats have been breaking, as could have been predicted. They're pretty skinny, the original slats I had holding the mattress up, and kids are pretty rambunctious, and they're getting bigger, so I need to reinforce things so that they can safely use their bed, continue using their bed, and, you know, a little bit of household cleanup, this and that. I don't know what else is in store for today, but that's what's on the agenda so far. Let's go give John a visit.
The steps are very slippy.
Oh yeah. Like that.
I went out here 3 times in the night, and it was sitting over here by a young buck.
Mm.
So I thought, well, that's good. Well, maybe the bugger's
Maybe
gone.
Sherry took off.
Well, let's see, he was over here as well yesterday. Yeah, there he is.
Oh, okay. Still here, hey?
So what I was thinking, if you want to go that way, I'll go around the other way, and we'll
Okay,
try and sort of force it over the fence.
sure. So the situation is this deer has a very badly broken leg, but like I was saying on the drive over, she can survive as a tripod. See that rear leg? There's definitely a break in there. And away she goes. Yeah, so the...
Clipped it. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, yeah, go. I was just gonna say the idea is there's just not enough food in the yard here for her to sustain her.
I wouldn't have cared if it eaten like junipers, they often do.
Right?
But that's not enough.
She's gonna want to come right back in.
Well, you know what? Now that I know at least it can clear the fence.
Mm-hmm. Not a big deal. Yeah.
And
Yeah, this is just a safe place.
yeah. I suspect that click we heard was the lower leg just flopping on the...
Ouch. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was saying on the drive over, you know, we do need a protocol for dealing with injured deer in Lethbridge, other than running them over. Or...
Oh, Jesus, don't even go there. But I do have the card, and I mentioned this to you before, that one deer we pulled out of that fence.
Yeah.
And, you know, with the severe hemorrhaging and
Yeah.
rupture. And he said, you know, I mean, I've got his card, I can call him any...
Just looking on it. He said we could call him, eh?
He did, but I mean, that would only result in one outcome.
Yeah, it's gonna...
A badly injured deer, that's the only thing you can do, I think.
Right.
If it's recumbent.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. We need to have a real clear, what do we do when it's too injured to be... If it's just a broken leg, let him be a tripod in the city.
Like this, yes.
Should be okay.
Yes, that's my opinion too. But this guy, I forget his name now, Skylar, what's his name? He seemed to be very sort of empathic, I would say.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, but he would, you know, that would be his mandate to shoot them. Right. But if you've got a three-legged deer that can't get up, or if it's hemorrhaging, or if it's, then that's a reasonable option, I think.
Right.
But
and there's nothing like the time we tried to run up and catch a deer that had a broken leg. It just cleared a fence like nothing. You were saying that it's a good chance they'll shock out anyway if you catch them.
If I had tried to really spook it here, and, I'm going like this and it's running, you can kill them.
Yeah.
It's called capture myopathy, and it's just lactic acid that builds up, and the most stressful part is just watching them,
right.
like this. I think it affects us more than the deer.
Definitely going to go back and just bed down for a while.
Yeah, it is. You know what? And that's okay. Now that, because I thought for some reason it had cleared the fence, it had got the fracture, but it just
kind of stuck in here.
Couldn't get back with it all snowy. But I mean, that didn't take long.
No.
And I didn't actually see it clear, but
she can get right over when she wants to. Yeah.
Did you get it on video? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. So, the situation at John's place, much as I expected it might be, clearly broken-legged deer, but not much that we can actually do about it, other than assess whether it is in a situation where it needs to be actually put down. And in that case, John believes we can access someone to do that, but I don't know. I think most of the time when people report the injured deer, they're just told to leave them be, and that's pretty much the best measure we can take in most cases. But if an animal's suffering and clearly going to die, depending on the suffering, hey? I mean, there's some cases where I've helped animals along, definitely. Like, there's always occasions every year when, for instance, I come across rattlesnakes that have been bumped on the road, and they've got lacerations and their guts are hanging out. There's nothing you can do to salvage that. So in that case, often I'll save the snake the trouble of moving around and dragging its guts and the infection and the slow death it's going to take for the reptile, and speed that along. But for most of the situations with deer, if they've been bumped by a car and they're surviving, it's usually because they just have a broken limb or something like that. And in those cases, let them be. They don't have any predators in the residential areas, so they can usually get along, I think. Anyway, figured I'd touch base here at Spokane on my way to the hardware store to pick up supplies that I need to fix the kids' beds. Pretty soon, a couple hours out, that young lady that bumped Foxy on the road is going to be showing up at my place, so I got to make sure I'm there for her. And see what else the day holds. So here you can get a little appreciation of what I'm dealing with. The original rails that I put in are like 1.5 inches wide, not big enough. And over a year's time, with little rascals jumping on the beds, doubling up on them, sometimes throwing tantrums, kicking, you know, stuff happens, and it turns out these little ones are just too thin to support long term. So I started putting in at some point a few, you know, wider pieces to support them, and that kept things going for a while. But as you can see, there's some significant gaps and broken pieces that need reparation. And so what I've done is I've just made enough to put 4 more thick rails for each bed, and I believe that's going to hold it for a little bit. So I'm not going to move on to that part until a little bit later this afternoon, because Tamara, I think that's her name, the young lady who bumped Foxy, is on her way over here. She said she'd be here around 2 o'clock. It's now almost 1:15, so I expect her any minute, and I don't want to move on to the next step until I've had my visit with her. Plus, that gives the new rails some time to dry with their stain before I bring them up here and slot them in. Not much work left to do. I just got to kind of place them in here, little wood glue at each end, and a screw, you know, zip zip, and we're done with that repair. And hopefully this bunk bed will last a little bit longer, and we can shoot it over to somebody else that has 3 little ones when we're done with it. Okay, come on, you guys. Let's go. Come on, you guys. I'm sure you can smell the fox and hear him now.
Oh, he's scared.
Oh, he's been kind of messy. I haven't checked on him since this morning. So, oh, for sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, we are.
Yeah, he's a wild animal. I haven't been messing with him. I just leave him alone. But Foxy, hey bud.
So is he all casted up?
Just checking on you. No, actually, they didn't. There's no broken bones.
There's no broken bones?
Nope.
I thought his wrists were...
Looked like it. Sure did seem like it. No broken bones.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just the superficial lacerations and some nerve damage in the one.
Okay.
And they said that he should bounce back from that.
Yeah, I saw that on the video because I watched the video, but for some reason I thought there was crushed bones or something. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So no. So all they did was stitch him up, and they said they didn't even think it's appropriate to put wraps on there. They just thought he should be left.
To air.
As long as it's a kind of a semi-clean environment. But anyway, if you want to take a look at him,
Okay.
poke your head back there. There's a flashlight, and you can take a look.
I will hold it.
Watch out for the big pile of the big mess.
We've had lots of animals in our house, so don't worry about that.
Oh yeah.
So where is he?
So he's just behind that wall back there. You get to the left, like when you go all the way back. He's in that corner underneath the stairs. All right. I am back on the road again, obviously, and for 2 reasons. I really didn't want to come back on the road, but I don't have the wood screws that I need to finish my project, and I did consider kind of just putting it off until tomorrow. And when I go out again, I have a walk and talk in the morning, then I could swing by Canadian Tire and get some wood screws. But that's kind of procrastination, and I'd rather kind of just finish the project this evening, feel good about it, and Chelsea will come home and it's done, you know, that kind of thing. So I think I'm just going to get the wood screws now. But there's a second reason that I'm coming out here, and that is because at least 3 people have messaged or phoned me today, including someone working for the city, to let me know that there is a goose seemingly stuck in the ice at Henderson Lake, and the goose's partner is hanging about, concerned. And yeah, the goose I guess can't get out of the ice, so it's probably a goose that had an injury to begin with, and I don't think I'll be able to do anything about it. But we'll go look at the scene before I make any calls like that. Henderson Lake, home of our dragon boat races and annual Canada Day fireworks and Japanese garden and a whole lot of geese and other waterfowl. I don't see the frozen goose necessarily, although I could. There are a couple of birds far out on the ice here. There was something on the ice ahead of me here. I'll show you when we get there, although I don't know if you'll be able to really pick it out with this camera. Something that could be a dead bird in the ice. But the ice is so thin, what ice there is, that even if there were a bird stuck in the ice, I don't think I'd be able to help it. This Drake here. Hey, Mr. Drake. Are you looking for food?
Crazy question.
Yeah.
Are you doing tracking birds or something?
I'm looking for a goose.
Oh, sorry?
I'm looking for a goose.
Oh, okay.
Who is stuck in the ice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I've been watching him. I think it's a little duck.
Okay.
It's, yeah. When I saw that kind of camera, I thought, okay, I think he's just a regular. I was going to go home and look up. I probably should have done something sooner, but at first I thought, he's just sitting there resting. And then he looked like he was really struggling.
Yeah.
And then just a few minutes ago, I thought, I think he's getting out because he's flapping his wings. It's almost like his feet are caught.
His feet are caught in there, eh?
In something. Because there's some open water right beside him.
How far out is he?
It's just on the other side of the bridge that goes across.
Okay.
So it's just, and he's about from here. Oh, I'm terrible with measurements. He'd be out to, oh gosh.
It's nothing you'd want to walk out to, though, right?
No, and that's what I was trying to figure out. I thought, how would they get at him?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Is there a way to get at him?
Well, I think if somebody had a little dinghy or canoe or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But outside of that, and I don't have one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to figure out, and I thought, maybe he just kept at it long enough.
Alright, so here's the bird that's caught in ice. Although it does look at least partially open around it now. I don't know if that's a grebe or what that is.
I couldn't tell. Yeah, see how he's straining, and then.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's definitely.
His wings, and he just doesn't go anywhere.
He's definitely stuck in there, hey?
Yeah, because I thought, maybe he's just wounded, but it's like he can't move from that spot.
Jeez. Yeah, and that's definitely not somewhere I can get without a boat, but somebody with a boat, it would be real easy.
Yeah. And I don't know anybody with a boat. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Cool. I will put out word maybe
Okay.
that somebody with a boat.
Yeah, and maybe when I get home, I'll throw something on Facebook. Just say, anybody?
just hiking back out. Unfortunately, that sun is going down quick, and it won't be long before darkness and temperatures already dropping are going to really envelope that grebe or whatever it is in some solid ice. I think it's probably a grebe, judging by the body shape, and it would be so easy to break it out if I just had a dinghy or something like that. So another thing I might consider fundraising for or something, In any case, I'm gonna go pick up those screws, get back to the house so that we can move Foxy up north. Okay, it is time for me to get Foxy out here and get him kenneled. I also have to give him his last dose of anti-inflammatory, which comes in a little syringe here. His ride should be showing up in about 10 minutes. So, let's see if we can get this done. Still got a couple more doses to send up, a few more doses to send up north with him. And still got to use this at least just to get him to where I can grab him. Hey, Foxy. Hey, buddy. All right, Foxy. Let's take your medicine. Come here, bud. It's okay. It's okay. Good boy. Good boy. Now, we're going to go in backwards. Here you go. Whoa! Stinky little poop. And we're good to go. So, this is Foxy, and of course I'll help you load him up.
Sure.
There are some food donations for him here, or him or anything else up north. This is a rabbit and a couple of giant rats.
Okay, perfect.
And then he still has 3 of his 24-hour anti-inflammatories. I just gave him one, so he's good until this time tomorrow.
Sure.
And then he needs another one. It's just an oral injection once every 24 hours, and then, yeah, load him up.
What happened?
He got bumped by a car, and his front legs were not operating well. Initially, he was, knocked out and stuff. And his front legs are not really operational, or weren't. They're getting better, though. One has pretty significant nerve damage. Both have big lacerations and stitches. And
It's pretty cold.
this'll fit. This'll fit.
Is he pretty cold or? Right now?
Oh, he's scared as heck. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he just cringes in the back of that cage. He doesn't really move around much, and he's got a big cone on his head.
Oh.
So he's pretty restricted.
Well, she has to move it to her car when we get to my house.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's actually doesn't weigh very much.
Oh.
It's a small dog, you know.
Her dad can help her.
Right on. All right. Well, thank you for hauling him north.
Yeah, no problem.
So there we go. Foxy's on his way. Success story. They don't happen every day.